Hello everyone, welcome to my crochet tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a cute little fox. This tutorial is beginner friendly, so I'll guide you through every step, making it easy to follow. Let's get started. For this project, we'll need the following tools and materials: white, gray, and coffee-colored yarn for the fox, rust-colored yarn for the jacket, and light brown yarn for the scarf, small button for attaching the tail, a 4mm crochet hook, a yarn needle for sewing the parts together, scissors, stitch markers help mark the beginning of each round, 14mm safety eyes, and finally, some stuffing. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the finished project. Our little Arctic fox measures 27 centimeters in height, 21 centimeters in width, and 9 centimeters in depth. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook for this fox, making it slightly larger than the red fox. The red fox, made with a 3.5mm hook, measures 26 centimeters in height, 20 centimeters in width, and 9 centimeters in depth. The Arctic fox also looks a bit chubbier because I added more stuffing. So, feel free to adjust the stuffing to your preference. If you want to make a red fox, like the one in the picture, you can use orange yarn for the head. But today, I'm going to make an Arctic fox using white yarn for the head. The pattern will be the same, just the color will change. Let's start with the white yarn. Begin with a magic ring and make 6 single crochets inside. Hold the end of your yarn in your left hand, letting it rest across your fingers. Wrap the yarn around your 2 fingers, index and middle, to create an X shape on top. Hold the crossover point between your thumb and finger to keep it steady. Slide your crochet hook under the first loop of the X and hook onto the yarn that's behind it. Pull the yarn under the first loop to bring it through. Now twist your hook to create a small loop. Chain 1 stitch to secure the loop and hold the ring together. This helps stabilize the magic ring and sets up for your next stitches. To check if you've made the magic ring correctly, gently pull the short yarn tail. If it tightens the loop, you've done it right. Now, begin making single crochets directly into the loop. We will start with 6 single crochets. Place 6 single crochets into the loop. Now pull the ring tight, and you should have a small circle of 6 stitches. For round 2, make an increase in each stitch to get 12 stitches. How to make an increase. In this step, I'm going to show you how to make an increase. An increase is when we crochet 2 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. This technique helps make your work grow. Insert your hook into the stitch like this, under both loops. Pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and pull through both loops to complete the first single crochet. Place the stitch marker to mark the beginning of this round. Now, instead of moving to the next stitch, insert your hook back into the same stitch where you just worked. Pull up a loop again, 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and pull through both loops to finish the second single crochet in the same stitch. You've now completed an increase. In round 3, the pattern changes slightly. Alternate between 1 single crochet and an increase. Repeat this 6 times to get 18 stitches. In round 4, make 1 single crochet, 1 increase, then 1 single crochet all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. For beginners who might not recognize how a single crochet or an increase looks, let me show you. This is a single crochet, which appears as just 1 V. This is an increase, which looks like 2 V's in the same stitch. So even if you forget to count, you'll still know where you are in this round. From rounds 5 to 22, the pattern remains the same. We're just going to increase a little more to make the head bigger. Keep following the instructions as I provided. If you want to make a red fox, switch to orange yarn starting from round 23. But for the Arctic fox, keep using the white yarn. Now for round 23, work 11 single crochets and 1 decrease. repeated 6 times to end with 72 stitches. How to make an invisible decrease. Insert your hook under the front loop of the first stitch. Insert your hook under the front loop of the next stitch. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over again and pull through both loops on the hook. You've now completed an invisible decrease. From rounds 24 to 30, we will decrease gradually, so just follow the same pattern as I've shown you. Once you finish round 30, fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. At this point, we'll lightly stuff the head to help shape it. We'll place the eyes later, once the head is halfway sewn onto the body. This will help determine the right spot for the eyes. Now, let's move on to the legs. For this, I'm using coffee color yarn. From round 1 to round 6, follow the pattern as I've provided. For round 7, we're about to change from coffee color yarn to white yarn. To ensure a smooth color transition, the yarn color is changed during the last stitch of the previous round, which in this case is round 6. Here's how to do it. Start the last single crochet of round 6 as usual. Insert your hook into the stitch. Yarn over with the coffee color yarn and pull up a loop. You'll now have 2 loops on your hook. Instead of finishing this stitch with coffee color yarn, drop the coffee yarn and pick up the white yarn. Yarn over with the white yarn and pull through both loops on the hook to complete the stitch. Now the last stitch of round 6 is finished, and you've seamlessly switched to the white yarn. Now work 24 single crochets around for rounds 7 and 8, using the white yarn. For a clean and professional look when changing yarn colors seamlessly, just like the first leg I crocheted, follow along as I demonstrate. When you use this technique to change yarn colors, you'll notice the transition looks smooth and beautiful. From rounds 9 to 12, follow the same pattern. Once you're done, fasten off and weave in the ends. Second leg. For the second leg, we won't fasten off just yet. We'll use this leg to connect to the first leg and continue to make the body. Now let's move on to the body. In round 13, Crochet 16 single crochets around the second leg. Then chain 4 stitches. Now we'll join the first leg by inserting the hook into one of its stitches and making a single crochet. Continue crocheting 32 single crochets around the first leg. Then crochet 4 single crochets along the chain we just made. Finally, crochet 16 single crochets to finish around the second leg. By the end of this round, you should have 72 stitches. In round 14, crochet 72 single crochet around. Then crochet 4 single crochets along the chain we for rounds 15 to 36, just follow the pattern as I've provided. When you finish, fasten off and weave in the ends. Now, let's move on to the hands. Follow the pattern I've provided. For the final round, fold the hand flat and crochet 6 single crochets through both sides to close the end. This creates a neat edge for sewing. Once you've finished, fasten off your yarn, leaving a long tail for sewing. Next, we're going to make the ears. For the ears, I'm using coffee color yarn. Follow the pattern I've provided. When you're done with round 13, fold the ears along the edges and leave a long tail for sewing. I'll show you how to do this in the video. We'll use 3 colors: coffee, gray, and white yarn. Start with coffee yarn. Begin with a magic ring and make 6 single crochets inside. For round 2, alternate between 1 single crochet and an increase. Repeat this 3 times to get 9 stitches. In round 3, make 2 single crochet, then an increase all the way around for a total of 12 stitches. At round 4, start with coffee yarn, 2 single crochets in coffee yarn. Switch to gray yarn, 1 single crochet in gray yarn. Remember, we always change colors on the last yarn over of the previous stitch. You can carry the unused yarn inside the stitches if needed to avoid excessive loose ends. Switch back to coffee yarn, make 1 increase. Repeat this 3 times around to get 15 stitches. For round 5, start with coffee yarn. Make 1 single crochet in coffee yarn. Switch to gray yarn. Crochet 3 single crochets in gray yarn. Switch back to coffee yarn. Make 1 increase in coffee yarn. Repeat this 3 times around to get 18 stitches. For round 6 and 7, using gray yarn, crochet 18 single crochets around in each round. In round 8, start with gray yarn, make 1 single crochet, and 1 increase in gray yarn. Switch to white yarn, make 2 single crochets in white yarn. Switch back to gray yarn, make 1 increase, and 1 single crochet in gray yarn. Repeat this 3 times around to get 24 stitches. In round 9, start with gray yarn, make 2 single crochets in gray yarn. Switch to white yarn, make 5 single crochets in white yarn. Switch back to gray yarn, make 1 single crochet in gray yarn. Repeat this 3 times around to get 24 stitches. For round 10 and 11, using white yarn, crochet 24 single crochets around in each round. From round 12 to 25, continue with only white yarn and follow the pattern. Once you finish the tail, fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. Use the crochet hook to make 5 chain stitches and slip stitch into the side of the tail. This will create a small hole for attaching the tail to the body using a button. And that's it. You've now completed all the parts of your adorable little fox. I hope you enjoyed following along with this crochet tutorial. In the next video, we'll assemble the pieces, embroider the face, and make a cozy hoodie and scarf for the fox. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more beginner-friendly crochet tutorials. Happy crocheting, and I'll see you in the next video.